Hello and welcome to our next episode of our How-To series. My name is Daniel Valicotti, and today I'll be talking about traceability and the Relational Explorer in the 3D Experience platform. You've already seen different concepts and more details on these concepts in the last episodes that my colleagues, for example, presented to you. Now today, we will take a look at traceability in the Relational Explorer, which directly shows us how the different data objects in the database of the 3D Experience platform are connected to each other. Traceability is a very important aspect because you can directly see what has been done to an assembly, what does an assembly consists of, what are the parts that are used within an assembly, for example, and if there's already a simulation that was done on an assembly. And how you can do that, I will show you now within the system. So let's switch over to the 3D Experience platform. Okay, here we are. So let's start with searching the product that we want to take a look at. So we search for the quadcopter. You will find the assembly. We can just click on it and find the relations button here on the bottom. Now it will load up all the objects that are related to the assembly, which are, for example, all the parts. So I can just enlarge this plus here. And then we can find all the parts that are directly connected to this assembly. There are quite a few, as you can see. And you can directly see what these parts look like and in which version they are used within the assembly. You can even find the finite element representation that my colleague built up, and you can find the abstraction shape that he created for the simulation, for example. Now, on the other side of this assembly, you find another plus. And if you click on that, you can find if there is a simulation object, for example, related to this assembly. You can see that indeed there is the simulation of the quadcopter that my colleague created. I can click on that and get some additional information on this object. For example, the product number, the revision state, when the object was created, who created the object, and what maturity state this object is, and so on and so forth. Also, if there's a project attached to it or some sort of bookmark, then you can directly see it here. And the best part, all of this comes directly when using the 3D Experience platform. You don't have to create these connections manually. So they are directly there as soon as you open objects in the context of the applications. And if done that in a full project, that means that, for example, you can find relational data as shown here. So what you can see here is a simulation project that we created with some requirements that we want to test within the simulation context. These requirements then, of course, need to be tested. For that, test cases were created that are directly linked to some specification files. Out of these test cases, some tasks were created, such as, for example, the simulation of a certain type, structural simulation, fluid simulation, whatsoever. And these tasks refer to a CAD data that needs to be tested. You can see that there's a simulation that was already done there. So you have this connection here. And in the end, there's even a deliverable coming out of the simulation files. Now, this full traceability that you have, as I said, directly comes when working within the platform and doesn't have to create it, hasn't be created by your own. Okay, with that, we're at the end of the current episode. I hope you got a good idea on why working on the 3D Experience platform gives you a great advantage using the Traceability and Relational Explorer tools. Within the next episode, we will be talking about lifecycle management for our simulation and data objects. So make sure to tune in again, and I wish you a good day.